Hello and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for this Friday. We are going over the Minty Music bracket week 3. So last week we did, or yeah, last week we started the polls for the next four uh, polls, so 9 through 12, and we have the results from those. But obviously, as with the other ones, the link to the next polls is in the description. It'll be poll number 13 and 14. But now I will reveal who won each of these polls. So poll number 9, we had Maroon 5 versus AJR. Maroon 5 was the favored matchup there, and pretty much expectedly, Maroon 5 won that one. Um, and this was the most heavily one-sided poll in this round. Um, 15 responses, 13 votes for Maroon 5, only 2 for AJR. Um, I was expecting this one to actually be a little bit closer. I wasn't expecting Maroon 5 to be sort of the blowout that it was, but that's not as surprising as I might expect. Maroon 5 is definitely a more well-known band than AJR. Poll number 10, we had Boston versus Eurythmics, and there was really no sort of winner favored matchup here, but the winner was Boston by a good amount. We had 11 to 4 votes there, so Boston still had a clear victory, although not as heavy as Maroon 5's. Um, yeah, I was expecting this one to be relatively close as well. I was actually expecting most of these polls to be pretty close. So this is a bit of a surprise, but not that much. I figured these two bands are pretty different, so it does make sense that this would go one way or the other. Next, we have poll number 11, Led Zeppelin versus The Clash, and I favored Led Zeppelin here, um, but I wasn't sure how close it was going to be. And the winner was Led Zeppelin, but only by one vote. We had a 7 to 8 there. So it could have easily gone the other way. And I wasn't quite sure if this one was going to tie. I was a bit worried because I think it was Thursday or Thursday morning. This was still tied. So I was a bit worried that this poll and the next one would be, um, I would have to tie break those. And poll number 12, Guns N' Roses versus Talking Heads. Once again, similar to Boston versus Eurythmics. They're two different styles of music, so I figured it would go one way or the other. And the winner here was Guns N' Roses, which is, I think Guns N' Roses was probably the favored one there. They're probably a more well-known than Talking Heads. Certainly have a larger career, I believe. And once again, similar to the last poll, this was only by one vote, and I was also quite worried that this would tie. Um, but we have 8 to 7 votes for Guns N' Roses. So with that, this is the bracket for week 3. I'm just going to go over the next. We'll have two polls for the upcoming week. There'll be poll number 13, which is Maroon 5 versus Boston. Both of these were sort of clear victories as opposed to the other two, which were tighter. Maroon 5 was a little bit tight, a little bit more heavily in their favor, so we'll see if that translates to a victory for them there. But there are also still two different types of music at this point. Pretty much all of them are different types of music, so we will see how that goes. And then poll number 14 will be Led Zeppelin versus Guns N' Roses, both only winning by one vote. So we will see how the votes turn out for that. That will be very interesting to see if it is as tight as it was um, in their previous rounds. But yeah, go vote. The link to the Google form will be in the description of this video. And next Friday, I'll reveal the final two winners, final two for the final matchup, which will take place first week of September, end of August time period. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And then whichever one of those wins, we only have 4 left. So whichever one of these 4 wins will be the artist I review for the next couple of weeks. I'll go through all of their albums and I'll release reviews on all of their albums. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and encourage if you have one you really want to win, encourage people to vote for them, and spread the poll around everywhere.